All right, here is the video review for something I've been excited about showing up. It was supposed to be here yesterday, and it got delayed because the DHL guy was running behind and had some difficulties. So I finally got here today, and here is Iron Factory's IF-EX24 Cannon Chariot, aka Onslaught. Here he is in his vehicle mode. We're going to do something a little weird because before we get to him proper, packed into the thingamajigger with them is this little black and pink RC repaint. I'm pretty sure this is the color scheme she had in the Combiner Hunters comic in the 3-pack that I think it was a Comic-Con maybe set of figures. So it's just a little black and pink RC version of the RC mold. Comes as a pack-in, and I'm not sure at this point if this is a limited first edition pack-in or something that will be taken out later, because there was that one, that Alita one that came with their Prime, and it was a first edition pack-in that came in its own separate tray. She and her weapons all come packed into the tray underneath the main tray with the combiner parts. So I don't know if she's intended to always be included or if it's a first one only bonus. But just covering her real quick, she's got her little vehicle mode here, a very simple transformation. She's got 2 little swords in black and purpley pink, and then the big hunting giant axe. And to transform her, you just kind of flip her legs down. I'm honestly not 100% sure if this is how her full transformation, but flip her legs down, flip her feet up, unpeg her arms from the backpack. There's a little peg here that goes into her forearm. And then just basically take the backpack, bring it down. You can open these up if you wish here, and then bring this down. There's a peg behind her head, but it appears like that's where this peg's in for vehicle mode. So you just kind of bring this down behind her and rotate her arms around, and there she is. A little bit of a ball joint head. She's got a ball joint here in her torso. Ball joint hips, no waist swivel. Although I guess you can swivel her at the torso at the ball joint there. Or maybe not. Oh, maybe not. No, because of this thing. Ball joint shoulders, ball joint elbows, ball joint head, ball joint hips, hinge knee, dual hinge knee, wow. And then ball joint ankles. Bring that down. So yeah, there she is. And again, she can hold either of her swords. These can probably peg into her feet. Or she can hold the giant sword, if you want her to have that. There you go, like that. So she can wreck some combiners. Don't know if I want to try to get her to stand with this giant sword in her hand, but you can use it to prop her up though. But yeah, little RC that comes with the figure. So now that that's shown off, that's just a little bonus pack, and let's get to the main event here, which is really the cooler part of the package, and it is CHARIOT. And here he is in his vehicle mode. You have to lift this up a little bit to get it to turn, but he does the little turret here that can rotate around on his back like that. Otherwise, no real posability. You can see his robot hands back here. And the underside of him with the panels and every such. But there's just the base robot. Now, he does come with several combiner bits, and if you combine them with the pieces that came, the feet that came with Brawl and Swindle in set A, and the set B, hands and fists, you can make this whole trailer that attaches to him. The feet, like I said, everything, all of this comes with Cannon Chariot, except for the feet. Here's the 2 feet transformed and connected here. The parts that are missing, we don't have the combiner mode fists from the arms, since that set isn't out yet, but they just store right in here. So like, while we are missing some of the pieces, what you get here is not visually off from what you're going to get all told when you have all the sets, because like I said, I think the only pieces that go into this are the fists, and they just store inside these boxes here, so you're not seeing anything visually different. But there's a couple little peg holes on the back of this gun that attach right here and peg on. And then you have this whole, nope, this just came off, but just peg this together here. Now you've got a trailer here on Cannon Chariot, and you could have blast off, probably blast off. He's probably the one vehicle that can't like travel on the ground, but it is capable of like maybe he's towing Brawl. So there's space there to tow one of the other, or pull one of the other vehicles on the trailer. And if you want, the way this all hooks together, you can just pull. You detach it here, just unpeg this part. And you can have Cannon Chariot look like this, have him be more of an armored vehicle, or weaponized. What's the word I'm looking for? Not armored, armed vehicle, I guess. And pull just this kind of back sled part of the trailer off, just like that. And what's cool also, we'll go ahead and do this before we get to the robot. All the combiner parts, again, the fists will go in here. And there's two little pieces that will fit inside the assembly that look like they're the wrist mounts for the hands on the combiner, which that, again, we don't have, but we don't need them. But if you take all of these parts, the feet, all the parts that came with Cannon Chariot, and the fists, and then this little piece from the top of Swindle, which I knew had to go somewhere. You can take this, unmount this from here, so unpeg those, rotate the feet back around to where they're to their normal positions here, and then fold up the wheels, but keep them pegged together. So you take this assembly, unpeg this assembly that came off. This is the waist plate. You can see if you fold that up and snap this all together, that's gonna, and then fold these down. That's going to be the waist assembly for the combiner. Unpeg. Oh yeah, this just tabbed in. Kind of lift these panels up. There's the blue piece. You can see where the blue piece and the silver piece meet. And basically, there you go. You can see these blue tabs are tabbed into the top part here. Take this, bring this, fold this back, flip up his little antenna and his middle crest, and open up these panels here on the front. That's the front part of the torso. Take these, fold the wheels down, and then fold this whole assembly up like this. And then take these things. These are the actual shoulder connectors right here, and you'll hear them. You hear them ratchet. They've got a very strong ratchet on them. So when you get them in combine mode and attach the arms, they should stay on there fairly. They should be fairly securely when posing, because the ratchet here is very tight. I'm going to go ahead and. Also, it's very sharp corners hurt my fingers. So flip these up like this, and then you've got the backpack. And then you take all this, and how this goes together is you take this, plug it in. You want these two little tabs. You want the feet in the back. Plug this in so these pegs are facing forward like this. And when you've done this, like I said, it looks like there's two wrist mounts from the arms that just peg on here. They don't really seem to have any effect on keeping things attached. That's just where they store when you're not using it. Again and again, the fist will be stored inside here. So you take this, attach this cannon piece onto this. And the cannons do rotate, and there's a little bit of a hinge there. They don't hinge a lot, but you can move those a little bit. But anyway, attach those here. These two square peg holes go onto these two pegs on Swindle's back piece. So kind of wiggle that down in like that. And then these two pegs right here peg into the inside of this. Just a matter of getting it lined up right like that. This piece right here pegs into the back of the gun. And then this piece right here, basically you want to hold the feet together, and then these two pegs right here are friction tab between these two slots to hold this piece on here. So now what's cool, when you're not using the combiner, like I said, the fists will be in here. When you're just playing with the individual robots, you've got a little Bruticus bust that you can have just sitting on your shelf. That's a neat little thing there. Anyway, so now let's go on to Cannon Chariot himself. And first, let's do a quick vehicle comparison, since we do have him here, with the other two. can see without the trailer, he's a little smaller than the tank. Actually, even a little smaller in comparison to the Jeep, but hey, that's just how it goes. And to turn him into a robot, it's actually fairly simple. Just kind of lift this up here, get that out of the way. Open up these panels on the front side, as well as these panels on the back side, and just fold them up like that. You can kind of see where we're going with this. Flip down his foot. Flip up these panels, or actually flip these panels right here down on both sides here. I can get my fingers in there like that. Flip out these pieces, it'll kind of form heels. And then just extend the legs. Let me help you untab them. They should extend further than that because there's a little... There we go. Bring them up because there is a swivel there, so make sure you bring them up enough so that that swivel is exposed. There we go. Like that. You hear good solid clicking hip ratchets because these also become his combiner mode hips, so they've got good solid front and back ratchets on the hips. And just come up here, split this assembly, bring it down and around like this, put the hands down, rotate his fist to face forward, open up the chest panel, flip up his head, close that back up, and there he is in robot mode. And you can have this, you can do this either way. You can have it sticking straight up like that. You can, if you want to, you can rotate it around this way and flip it up, or just fold it down flat against his back. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to leave it up. There we go. I'll put the heel out. He does have a rifle. We cannot form the whole rifle because, like, I can form the front half and like this will become the back half of the rifle, but the middle piece is missing, so you can't connect it all together. So we'll do that when we get the arm pieces, but he does come with a small rifle that you can put in his hand there. Poseability wise, you've got what we already saw on the turrets, a ball joint head, although again it's limited, it mostly just swivels. Ball joint shoulders as well as this hinge up here that lets him move a little bit. He does have a bicep swivel. Hinge elbow, both dual hinge elbow, both up here and down here. The wrist swivel. He does have a waist swivel, which is nice. Those aforementioned like stiff swivels out to the side, as well as the stiff ratcheting there at the hip, the thigh swivel. And you'll hear it, like you see this ratchet here as well, but that's for the transformation. And then ball joints on the toes, so he's got a little bit of toe swivel there. And then the heel. As well as a couple places you could put some tiny faction logos if you have some. And some quick size comparisons now. Go ahead and zoom that in. But here he is with his fellow Combaticons that we have so far. Maybe I can. Right another way. You can see he's a little taller, a little massive, a little bit more massive than both. I mean, I guess Brawl looks really big in the shoulders, but I love the way they've managed to do the size difference in these guys, and it still have them combined into a decent combiner. I'm looking forward to seeing with Vortex and Blastoff getting here. But yeah, so there's those guys. Here he is. There's wouldn't be sense to show the brigade without Starscream. And again, looks good. Like heck. I really can't get over how much I'm really digging Iron Factory stuff, and like just how much character and stuff they're putting at this small scale. It really is great. And because I wanted to do this yesterday, here they are with Blaze Dash and Bolt Runner. That was because Onslaught was supposed, like I said, he was supposed to be here yesterday and then missed it. But yeah, so they look good with other characters and such. And just real quick, just to give you an idea of how they scale with a standard deluxe, here they are with Titans Return Quake, which is the same mold as Hardhead, so you can get an idea of just exactly how big these guys are. Very sturdy, very well made. I do want to point out they have like a heft to them. Like I think he may be heftier than Quake. Now to get him into his combined mode, it's actually not super difficult. Like I said, you got to attach a lot of the combiner pieces. So we'll go ahead and take his rifle, which again we can't combine yet. I've got all the other rifles just pegged together. I'm gonna see if maybe there's some way I can peg this on here. Maybe I can just peg this onto here, just to store all the weapons together until I can combine them. That's just me being silly though. So take his head, flip it back down here into here like that, like for vehicle mode. Then take this back cannon and just fold them down like that. Kind of give him a gun head. The arms go exactly the way, at least at this half goes the way they were. And then we're just going to bring them up here like this. And then we're going to tab them in. This little tab right here is going to go into the side of his torso instead of flipping up above like they did for vehicle mode. Make sure you get that. Use that double hinge to make sure that they're lined up properly, and then just peg them in right here. Come on. There we go. So just like that. The legs, we're going to flip the feet up. Inside here is where the combiner ports are. There's a little groove in the tab that this one comes out a little easier. This one's very tough, but there is a little groove, like it's already kind of messed up my thumbnail, but you can get in here and flip it down with a spudger or any sort of prizing tool. Pop that out and then just fold this down. It doesn't fit behind it, but just kind of fold it down against it. For the time being, we take the legs, lift them up like that, and then bend them here in the middle of the leg, like that, to form his hips. And now we get to the fun stuff. So we take the combiner bits. We're going to go ahead and pop these pieces off. You can go ahead and leave this attached to the backpack if you've already done so. So this comes on, and these two square peg holes that attach to Swindle's piece peg into the middle of his back. You can see the little tabs right here. You just kind of wiggle it around there, line up the peg holes, peg that onto his back. So you can see there's the torso there. The front is going to come in, and again, it's going to peg. This little piece right here will peg into the torso, and then these two pegs or peg holes up here will peg on where they did in bust mode. So make sure the arms are lined up. Make sure the wheels on his arms kind of fit up into the notches in the armor. You can see there's where the arms are going to attach when they're here. But we'll just take this, and like I said, we'll go ahead and attach it. Just trying to get the right angle on everything. Okay, that's in there, and then push these together. You can fold these forward, and go ahead and fold these forward just to give you the ability to see into what we're doing here so we can get these all lined up properly. Oh, maybe those don't reach. Oh, no, that just, okay. Come on. There we go. There we go. It's just a matter of getting everything, there we go, all tight together. These come forward a little bit, and then you just fold these back against there. Oh, this one came pegged from the torso. That's contrary to the rules. Get back in there. Okay, there we go. So there's the whole upper body torso hooked together. These pieces right here that originally held the fists peg on to his back right here, just right there on the back of the hip. It still retains the waist swivel, which is nice. And then this waist part, again, you can see these little divots right here are where the hips are going to sit, and then this peg in the middle pegs right in here to the green bit. So you kind of want to make sure this goes on either side of the green. It nestles right up against there, pegs in, and there is the torso itself with these little connector pieces. And then we just come to the smaller robots, and in case of Swindle, which I've already put them in feet mode. So just lift this up, slide the connector right in there. Sure goes all the way back, pull that up, and he's got a knee joint. And it's, again, ratchets very well, supports him very well. So there's one foot connected. Now with Brawl, he has, it's all folded in there. And I've always had a bit of a hard time. The spudger helps. If you can just get it up to here, once that's done, you can attach it this way and then use the leverage of the connection to swing it the rest of the way up. But just, actually, because of the way it connects, you kind of have to do it like this. But flip this up and then bring it forward. And now he's all connected. And there you have War Giant all assembled. His cannons stick up very high, and again, like I said, these rotate. If you'd rather have the more solid purple facing the front, you can do it like that. I think that looks cooler. Although maybe you want to twist them this way so the screws stay on the back. Entirely up to you, but yeah. And again, he's got the waist swivel. He's got, like I said, the strong ratcheting hips, both side to side there as well as front to back. Thigh swivel, the hinged knees. He's got the ankle tilt that was built into the foot as well as the toe tilt that you can use when posing him. And then, like I said, the waist swivel, the head is on a swivel, maybe on a ball joint, but if it is, it's not. It appears to just be on a simple swivel. And then like the arms, I'm assuming the arms will have pretty decent articulation. Like I said, these shoulder connections are very strongly ratcheted. So at least there at that connection, they will be very secure. As for the rest of it, I don't know because I don't have the arms yet to play with. He'll be able to hold his rifle. He'll be able to hold Shockwave, their Bridge Watcher, in weapon mode. And the arms will apparently come with a non-transforming Shockwave, at least as far as we know. And again, just some quick size comparisons here with him. His cannons will be going a little off the screen just to get the feet in, but we'll at least see the head. So first off, here he is with, again, Starscream and his brigade. Here he is with the Lambo brothers. With the little Combiner Hunter RC, just to give you an idea, since she comes packed in. Here he is with DX9's Hulky, their Devastator. So if you have Hulky, or you've played with one, you get a little bit of a better idea of how big he is. And then just for standard comparison with some other stuff, again, here he is with deluxe size Quake. And here he is with Titan's Return Voyager Megatron. So he's a little bigger than a Voyager. He's not quite, he's not quite leader class. Like once he's all combined, he's not as big as say like Jinrai or Power Master Optimus, but he's not a tiny little dude once he's all combined. And I love the fact that, again, yes, you have some extra combiner parts, but I think they're very clever in the way that they store into like a little bust you can display on your shelf if you're not using the combiner parts. And I love, like, one, that they got the various size differences between the individual robots in the team. And yet, as you can see, still end up being functional legs and I'm assuming arms once we get the other two. But to get such a really cool looking group of characters to turn into like this really nicely, at least so far, combiner. Because he looks really cool. I can't wait for the arms. I really cannot wait for the arms now because this is already very impressive. He's very cool. And to get these kind of figures with this detail and this scale, again, because you could have a whole shelf of these combiners without taking up, like having one combiner take up the whole shelf, like some of these big third-party ones, like as they get 15, 16, 17-inch tall combiners, to have one this size. That one, again, just the posability on what I've got here is very playable. And to have such nice detail and design. Like, I'm really digging this set. I'm really digging what Iron Factory's doing. Playing with this makes me even more excited for their DJD combiner that's coming out. But really digging it. Really super excited to have this. Like, the arms. Like, it's going to be agony waiting for the arms because, like, this is great. And I'm just going to have him, like, walking around in, like, combined mode with no arms. Now, some people have blue tacked the Lambo brothers on his arms. So I guess if I really felt desperate, I could do that. But yeah, nice set. A nice addition to the team that's forming. Can't wait for the last one. There is Iron Factory's IF EX24 Cannon Chariot.